Hello and welcome to another video on this channel. Today I'm doing the tier list for the corrupted items, and we are going to start with corrupted button. Corrupted button, what this item do is if basically if you eject one additional variant. So what that means is basically that you eject two variants, so one just gets skipped. Um, The item, by the way, doesn't care in that case if it's like an odd mart or a normal variant. You're just going to have like one less variant. Or like basically you just eject one more and it skips the one. Just skips one. Okay. Yeah, I think this is an item which is really well or like works really well for the speedrun categories and the highest variant category. But it's like really bad in a normal run. So I think this is like purely a speedrunning item. Um, because if you pick it in just a normal variant 50 run, so basically you're just trying to win the game, it's just going to make your run a lot harder because you get less items, less odd marts, even like less watchers. So yeah, this item is quite hard to rank because it's such a really dominant in especially the speedrun categories, as you're like basically guaranteed to get a good lead. Like actually currently you are kind of guaranteed to get a leaderboard position if you get this item. Um yeah, like on a really good run. If you basically have a really good start on a variant 50 run and you get this item on like variant 25, um, and you like didn't play really slow like I am doing sometimes, then this can just be like a leaderboard place is the thing. And if you're speedrunning fastest variant 10, um, then you like even if you play not that great, you can still relatively easily get a time of 1 minute and 30 seconds. But yeah, I'm not doing like I'm not actively trying to speedrun that category, so yeah, I'm like not really doing that. But yeah, really bad in normal run, really good for leaderboard categories. Yeah, that's why it is quite hard to rank. I think I would still put it in C tier. Just looking from a you're playing a normal run perspective. Um, then like the only reason why it's not D tier is just because of speedrunning. Um, yeah, but for like speedrunning and leaderboard runs, also like highest variant, this would be S tier. For normal runs, this would be D tier. So then maybe the compromise is B tier, but it's still like low B tier in my opinion. I think the like deficit of just making normal runs like way harder, without like any upside, in my opinion. It's just not great. Mm, so yeah, I feel like like the only scenario in which I could imagine taking it is if you get a watcher on variant 41 and you're on a really bad run when like okay, let's say you're playing nailgun and you have really good single target but you have really bad AoE and you're really struggling with the variants. Then I would honestly consider picking this up at like 41 if you get it. To then just have to deal with less variants that you could potentially die on. Um, yeah, but that's like the only scenario I could imagine, and in which this item would be useful in just a variant 50 run. So yeah, moving on, we have the corrupted cannon. And yeah, what this item does is basically you have 1 HP, and you one-shot everything. I think this is also like quite a hard item to rank. Um, because personally, I like never really experimented with it. Because I don't like this I just don't like that concept too much. Um, but I still think this is like actually a nice implementation of a glass cannon. So yeah, maybe you know, but basically a lot of roguelikes have an item that is like called glass cannon or something, and it just makes you a lot more squishy, but gives you a lot more damage. And there are like a ton of different ways this is like implemented into games. I think this one is like quite good. Um, but what I would like is maybe like more ways to play around the 1 HP. Um, so yeah, currently we like only have the odd item that basically protects you if you get that just gives you one shot protection basically. That's like the only item that can save you from that one hit. Because I feel like it's really quite likely, to be honest, to just get hit by like a random attack. Um, yeah, but if you are really good at just spawn killing enemies, then this is like a really good item. I think this item is like also quite good if you have good AoE, but like crazy good AoE. Um, it's basically not playable on like melee weapons. So I would honestly only consider this item viable on lightning staff, nail gun. Yeah, but nail gun just doesn't really have the AoE. So I think it's like basically only viable on lightning staff. Yeah, that's the thing. Hmm. I don't know. Um, the question now is if it's like better than corrupted button. I mean, it kind of has. I think there's like also a scenario in which I would definitely take this is that if you get to variant 49, so basically one variant before the big man, and you get a watcher, um, then you could theoretically take him and could get this item, which is like really unlikely, and that could also completely fuck up your run. But I think if you think that you would die to big man anyways, that would be worth a shot because with this item you just one shot him. So yeah, I think that is a scenario in which this is takeable. Um, but otherwise, I think it's like really hard to make work, and it's just, yeah, it's just doesn't have the ways to, you just don't have the ways to really play around it. Um, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but I also just don't know like how to could I just can't imagine anything that you would do to like make this item more, yeah, just give the item more potential to be played around. Yeah, but I think this is still not a like necessarily bad item. You just need to have the skill for it, which is, I would say, quite difficult. Um, yeah, I mean there definitely are tools to like make this more viable, like Teddy Bomb and stuff. Yeah, but it currently, yeah, it's just you just can't really make it work in like 80% of your runs. That's the thing. Moving on, we have corrupted cassette, which basically makes it so that time moves down 3 times faster, which in that case would make it so that you, instead of 5 minutes, have 1 minute and 40 seconds. But it maxes out your movement speed, reload speed, and fire rate. I really like this item. I think it's sad that you don't get it that often. Um, yeah, but I think this item honestly is either A or S tier. Um, I mean, the thing is, um, I wouldn't say that you just instantly win the run from having like capped attack speed. Um, yeah, but I think I will put it in S tier, because like also like capped move speed is really nice to have. Um, so yeah, I think this item, even though it is then quite hard to like yeah, make it so that you are getting your cards up because you're going to go more often to the time room. Your tax is going to get a lot higher. Um, and then you also have like only 1 minute and 40 seconds of time cap, so getting an error variant is always going to be dangerous. Um, yeah, but I think this item, like, I mean, I had only one run with it. There's like actually a video on my channel, with like Frog, and it worked really well in that video, I think. So yeah, I think this is definitely an item that you can play around nicely. And yeah, I think it's an S tier, but it's like lower S tier. Moving on, we have Corrupted. Also basically Corrupted Heart. But the in-game name is just yeah, some signs that look like a heart. Maybe you've seen that on the wiki. So yeah, what this item does, um, so basically your health is going to be your time, and your time is going to be your health. So basically, you don't have um two resources. You have only one, but both keep their mechanics. Okay, so let's let's talk about this. So basically, you have your HP, and your time is going to basically be that many seconds. So, as example, if your HP is 100 and you get this item, then you're going to have a time cap of 1 minute and 40 seconds. So yeah, this item just makes it so that your time is equal to your HP. Um, yeah, I mean theoretically, um, it could have also been the other way around, but that's just not how it currently works. But that would have actually like also been funny if you would just have like a set 300 HP and that's all you got. Yeah, but currently it works with max HP, which is definitely the better scenario in this case. Um, so yeah, and then your time is going to also like keep its mechanics and just tick down, which will then basically damage you, but it's not actively taking damage, it's just your HP depleting basically. So it doesn't proc taking damage items, for example. Um, so yeah, this item is basically just going to damage you for one every second, but if you heal, then your time is also going to go back up. So basically, you only have to worry about your health and not your time. So this is like an item that just solves time for you entirely, and you don't have to worry about it. Um, I think this is an item that really shines in the late game, but is really bad in the early game. And because in the early game, it's basically just going to reduce your healing. So you just have like one less region all the time. And if you don't get anything to scale against it and you get put into an error variant, then you're kind of cooked, to be honest. There's not that much that you can like really do. You just have to play then. You have to play really well then. I think this is a really good item for late game, especially for like hard mode also. And because it basically just gives you ridiculous amount of time, and HP losing HP doesn't matter anymore. Um, Also, this basically gives you more healing if you like refill your time, then you're going to heal 10 HP. So this gives you more healing value per soul, but not as much as one uncommon item. Um, so yeah, I'm not 100% sure on this. But I don't think it's that great. But it can be quite nice to have in some late game scenarios. Especially if your tax gets really high or something and you want to raid to an error variant. Um, yeah, I don't think it's a great item necessarily. It's just an item that you can pick up if you want. Um, if you already have decent healing, I think it's fine. Because not having to worry about time is quite nice. Um, but yeah, I think this item kind of forces you into taking more greens. So that you just get enough healing that you can sustain it. Um, yeah. But like also a good thing is as soon as you are over like that HP regen threshold, so that you are positive on HP regen again, then if you have results, you're going to be always able to just go to the time room and stall. Um, without having to worry about losing time and then have to like spend souls again. So yeah, this is like basically the item for cheesing the big man by going to the time room. Moving on, we have the corrupted quarter pie. This item slows down time. So this item slows down time to like a fourth. But your HP is cut to a fourth. Um, and I let me say this item is straight up going into detail. Um, I think the problem with this item is, um, so first of all, it doesn't really solve time for you. I mean, you're going to have 20 minutes of time cap, basically, which is good. But what do you get from that is the question. Um, I mean, why would I want 20 minutes of time cap? Like, what is the reason? Um, because I am currently just not punished for having to buy time. I can just do it. Like, um, I'm going to spend a max amount of like 10 souls on it, and then I can like cash out, and I'm going to get a lot of cards. But with this, um, yeah, I mean, your time is nearly sold for the entire run. You have to refill your time like one time. But what do you get from it? Honestly, nothing. Um, this item just kind of encourages you to never go to the time room, which is just bad. Because you're just never going to get value from tax reductions and all that stuff. Um, the item is just straight up bad. Like it basically has two downsides, I feel like. Um, but yeah, like there's not really a case in which I would pick this item up. Like honestly, I think it would be alright if you get it like on the first watcher of the run, so you're going to lose like 20 HP. Then you can pick it up if you want. Um, but yeah, it's just not necessary. I feel like this could have been an okay item in my no weapons run. So if you're like having a really, really slow run and you just don't want to care about time, then you can definitely pick this up, especially like early. Um, but the item is just not good. It's just bad. Um, what I would do maybe to rework it is I think the idea is nice. That's something with like a fourth. Okay, so I thought about this for a little bit, and what I would maybe do is like make it so that the item basically lets something happen every 4 seconds or something. So I think actually in this case, you might honestly want to move it away from the category of solving your time. Um, yeah, I mean, I think there are just better ways to implement solving your time as an item or like as a corrupted item. So I could imagine just moving this item away and reworking it to something like every 4 seconds you spend on a variant, you're like maybe getting damage. Um, but the item just does something to you or like maybe reduces your armor by 1%. So basically every 4 seconds you're going to get 10% damage, but you're going to lose like maybe 1% armor. And then if you go into the negatives, then you're just going to take more damage. Um, I think that could be like maybe interesting. Um, but yeah, I just don't think this is a good item. Moving on, we have the corrupted scissors, and this item definitely goes into S tier. Um, Honestly, I think it goes like in front of the corrupted cassette. So what this item does, you basically have no tags anymore. So basically, you're always going to get one card for your souls. Like you're going to get one card for one soul, and yeah, you have a time limit of one. Um, so even though this sounds quite bad, um, this item like solves your run. Like that's just actually what it does. It solves your run. And the crazy thing is, it solves your run by like just giving you like all the stats that you could imagine because you're going to go to the time room after every variant. You're like every variant you're going to cash out for all those souls that you have besides like buying time with 2 souls. So you're just going to have a crazy amount of stats at the end, which is just going to be like really good. You're going to have like a lot of damage. You're going to have around 700 max HP. It's just kind of crazy, to be honest, how good this item is. Um, I feel like the only scenario in which you would like actually die to the time cap thing, um, is maybe like um a really rare scenario in which you basically have an error variant, and right after that maybe like a corruption appears and you don't realize it, and then you just die because you weren't fast enough on skipping the corruption. Yeah, you like you just can't really do corruptions with this item, because you're just gonna die because you don't have the time. Besides, maybe you have an hourglass, then it's definitely doable. um yeah, but also a really bad scenario is what I have had happen to me recently. Was that I had like 1 minute of time left. I got into a running variant, and after that I got into another running variant and died because of that. um so yeah, I mean, it kind of like it got patched out that you could get multiple error variants and running variants in a row, but it looks like you can just still get more than one running variant in a row, which is really bad for these 2 items. Um, but I think it's quite rare that it happens. So yeah. Okay, last item we have Soulful Playlist, which makes it so that you don't have any weapons. Yeah, you just don't have any weapons, and you only have the Ottoman, so you can only shoot souls. Um, the upside of this item is that you get plus 100 max souls, which is going to make you able to buy just a lot more cards. I think this is like actually like an A tier item, to be honest. Because this item doesn't even need like any soul setup. You can just pick it up, start building your run around it, and win. Um, I think this is like a really underrated item. It doesn't like give you the win on a silver plate like these two, to be honest. Um, but it still gives you or like guarantees you a really decent run. You just have to know how to play around it, and you just can't cash out anymore. Like that's the biggest downside, to be honest. Um, but yeah, this item is really good. If you're struggling to beat the game, I think I would pick this up. And then the only thing that I would like that you really have to be careful about is managing your souls and make it so that you should try to like always be above 50 souls is what I would do after a time room. So yeah. Um that's it for this video. Um yeah, my voice kind of went away at the end. I'm sorry for that, but Yeah, that's it for today. Goodbye.